All right, Lobster Hooping 101 graduates. So you are ready to dive into Hooping 102. But before that, let's review. For the 101 graduates, you should already know that you need a report, the Lobster report card, the Lobster gauge, the gloves, the lights for your head and also on your kayak, and a pen, along with the fishing license and the ocean enhancement. The plastic pouches are optional. If you want to keep your phone or your other personal belongings in there, you can get that as well. And of course, you need the hoop net. In today's video, I'm reusing old bait because I'm out of macros, okay? Notice I'm packing the bait cage full. Okay, if you can, always pack your bait cages full. I can still squeeze maybe another macro in there, but you know what? I'm out. So it could be more packed than that, you know. So lights. One of my viewers asked, hey, how'd you get your light to erect? No, I don't use Viagra on my lights, but you see here, I drilled a hole here and I drilled a hole down here. See how it's tied to the rope? And just to make sure, I got an 8-ounce weight dangling here so it stays erected. Okay, look at the way how I stack my nets on the back of my kayak. Okay, I've seen some of you guys stack your nets on these PVC pipes that you guys build, and you know what, those things are flimsy. They can break, and once they break and it falls off your kayak, you'll lose 2 to 3 nets. All right, well, back out here, redondo. It's been a year. So last time I was out here last year, stunk. You think I can redeem myself and save face? I don't know, but we'll definitely know by the end of the night. So I see some pros. I see them posting on Facebook. We're gonna play dirty today. We're gonna find them, okay? And then we are going to ask if we can lay our hoop nets, not right next to them, but close by, because they know the area. This is not my territory. This is not my area. I don't know where the cracks and crevices are, but I recognize people, and sometimes that helps. So, Lobster 102. If you don't know what you're doing out here, don't know where the spots are, recognize the people, the pros, people that you know, you've seen. You know, they posted on Facebook, social media of their catches, their, you know, their limits and whatever. Remember their faces. If you see them out here, go where they're at. Ask them, hey, kiss their ass a little, okay? And say, hey, you know what, bro? I saw you're a pro on social media. You're very awesome. You're great at hooping. Can I hoop nearby you? Not right next to you, or drop your nets right on top of them. Okay? So, Lobster 102. If you don't have a fish finder like me, you can't find the structures in territories you don't know. But it's gonna help if you recognize the people. Okay, some people at the dock already recognize me. Yeah, they said they were gonna follow me, and I said I don't know this area. So yeah, I told them not to follow me because I'm gonna be following somebody else. And right now, holy cow! Look at this. This is, I'm not used to this. In Dana Point, it's not like this. This is a washing machine. And where'd that guy Hung Pham go? I'm gonna look for Hung Pham. Okay? He's a pro hoop netter. My friend Ted talks about them all the time. Like Hung was his first love. I don't know. All right, so conditions. If you go hoop netting or fishing, please check your weather forecast before heading out, because there could be a rain, a thunderstorm, a lightning storm, hurricane, whatever. You don't want to be coming out here wasting all your time and efforts and gas coming out here to find out that conditions are not suitable for doing your thing on your kayak, whether it's hooping, whether it's fishing. So make sure you check your weather forecast. For me, yeah, I mean, I knew Redondo was going to be like this. Redondo is a little bit more rough than Dana Point and further south. So I kind of knew, but I was actually expecting there were going to be a lot more people outside the harbor and outside the jetty. But it turns out Hung Pham and all the FNS pros, they were all inside the jetty near the bait barge. So I'll explain a little bit more later on why they're all inside. But the guy that you see in the distance there, that's a Northern Californian kayaker. His name is Sal, and he has a YouTube channel called Northern Hobie Kayak Fishing, and these types of conditions are normal for him, as it's pretty rough up in Northern California. So these conditions, no problem for him. For me, I was a noob, but at the same time, I didn't, want to waste my time coming out to Redondo and then to hide inside. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody and say hide inside the harbor, but I didn't want to hoop net inside the harbor because I didn't come all the way down to Redondo just to be inside the harbor. So, but yeah, apparently I didn't get the memo that all the pros were going to be inside the harbor, and that the noobs, well, actually, I shouldn't say noobs, but noob, myself, did not get that memo, and I was outside the harbor. So yeah, make sure that you're able to, do your activities on the ocean by checking your weather forecast. Dump your hoop nets 30 minutes to an hour before dark. Okay, and look at it, it's like a washing machine out here. I know I'm gonna have a bunch of water inside my kayak at the end of the night on nights like this. Alright, so I've come to conclude that reusing old bait does work, as you can see. So I think the trick is finding where the divers are. Okay, that's a diver, and you don't need to talk to divers. If you're antisocial, don't need to talk to them. All you gotta do is pay attention to where they hang out at. Okay, he's leaving, but the divers give you a lot of information. Wherever they hang out at is where there's lobsters. Okay, I guarantee you they're not down there looking for gold. So wherever they hang out at is where that's where the crevices and where the lobsters are going to be at. Okay. All right, so you see me holding that net. There's about 4 to 5 short lobsters in there. Okay. Don't waste your time taking them out and measuring them and then tossing them one by one. What I do is I grab the whole net and I see that they're all shorts. I toss the whole entire net down with all of them in there. Okay, because the first call, there's only a 1 or 2 hour window where they are very active as soon as it gets dark. Okay, so you don't want to be wasting time looking at and just being depressed on how why you're catching shorts and why they're don't Don't worry about it. It's a numbers game. Toss it back quickly as possible because you know there's going to be lobsters there because there's evidence, right, in your net. So, so it's just your luck that you're not catching the legal size one. So don't move your net. Throw it right back down where you got it, where you caught the lobsters, and move on to the next one. Now, if you pull up the net and it's empty, and you throw it back down and you pull it up again 15 minutes or 30 minutes later and it's still empty, move your net. Okay? I would move it, I don't know, 50 yards or so, either left or to the right of the jetty. Okay? So don't waste your time, is my point of, taking out the small ones, measuring it. When you do this enough, when you grab the lobster, you're going to know whether it's legal or short. You don't even need a measure. Just grab it by its carapace and you'll know exactly whether it's going to be illegal or short. So don't waste any time. Again, you have that 1 or 2 hour window where they're active on their first crawl. And the first crawl is usually as soon as it gets dark. I usually start pulling my nets 15 minutes after it gets dark. Okay? And then for a straight 2 hours, I pull my nets continuously. Drop it down, move on to the next, pull it up. And if there's no lobsters or there's lobsters, do your thing, but throw the whole net down. Don't count one by one, take out one by one. Just throw the whole net down, move on to the next. And I do that for 2 hours straight. Okay? So now let's go back and talk about divers. All right, so divers. I have not met a single bad diver before. The ones I have met have been very nice. Okay, in fact, I like them better than myself. So they provide valuable information. I'm very talkative with people. And same thing with divers. I never accuse them because human tendency is we tend to think bad and negative things about people. That's just human nature. But divers, I've never caught them cherry picking out of my pots. I've never caught them stealing or anything like that. They've been nothing but nice. And the diver that I spoke to in Redondo, he told me that there are crevices, on the outside jetty that that he looks in, he can see through to the other side. Okay, which means lobsters can move freely on the outside of the jetty, crawling into the crevices, and then crawling out of the jetty into the inner harbor, and vice versa. They can crawl from inside the harbor into the crevice and then back outside the harbor, outside the jetty. Okay, so the diver that I spoke to told me that it's not the crevices are not big enough for him to squeeze through into, but inside the jetties there are cavities, not caves but cavities, that is just big enough for lobsters. And he says he sees the big ones are in there, right? And they don't come out. So how do they survive? Well, there are these these algae, these kind of like brownish seaweed or whatever it's called. That's what they feed on. And sometimes debris or food or bait, dead bait, flows into these crevices, and that's what they feed off of. But the big lobsters, they rarely get out, and they're big for a reason. And he said he tries to reach in there, tries to grab them, just cannot grab them. Okay, so these lobsters, even for the divers, they're very hard to catch. All right, let's move on to the next topic. The rain, freshwater. Lobsters are irritated by fresh water. Okay, so when the rain rains down on these jetties, it trickles down into these crevices, and then they get irritated and they start flapping and swimming around. And they start, getting out of the crevices and they start crawling. So that's something that I think a lot of you guys already knew. It's good to go hoop netting on rainy days, on misty days, foggy days. This video has gotten to a bit too long where I really want. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, but here's a picture of one of the lobsters I had caught in the past few days. And in my next video, I'm going to do, how I caught this lobster along with 3 other legals on that trip. And I will also provide a very detailed recipe on how to stir fry it. So if you guys don't want to miss out on information, tips, rules, regulations that I provide on this channel, and the epic catches that I catch, subscribe. If not, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.